I'm starting here. We good? Fun. Good evening, I am Patrick Cassidy, and welcome to the Franklin Theater. We are in the lobby. Say hello to the concession stand. We have people here. They're all masked up. Hi, guys. Say hello. Wave, wave, wave. You're on our live stream. This is incredible. I'm standing in the lobby, and gosh, I want some popcorn. No, I can't get popcorn. I got to eat. But we're in the lobby. We're in the Franklin Theater. You saw the marquee. It is absolutely stunning. And guess what? We're now going to go inside the theater, and we're going to meet some people. Here we go. Hello. Oh, my God. Look at we're in the theater. Hey, guys, turn around. I'm behind you. Say hello. Wave. Wave. There we go. We got a few people in the theater. Isn't that great? This is great. I've never thought I'd be in a theater like this and have 5, 6 people here, but it works. This is incredible, guys. You like this? Like our new little thing? I feel like I'm at the Academy Awards. No, not. Anyway, without further ado, guess what? I'm going to throw it to my Sundance kid. My name is Butch, not Hopalong, and it is Mr. Patrick Thomas, our musical director. Patrick Thomas, take it away.
There we are. Hey, everybody. All right, let's move the camera here. Yes, so Patrick and I, and don't get confused, it's PT and PC. We get confused too. But Patrick and I were talking when we first started this series, and we decided we would always do a tribute to our fantastic guest artists. And so this is my tribute, and they may love it, they may hate it. I'm sure they've heard these songs and sang these songs quite a lot, but we know that you're going to know them. Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Looking around here, you think, sure, she's got everything. I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I got who's its and what's its galore. You want to think of a box? I got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I want to be where the people are. I want to see them dancing, throw around on those. What's the word again? Forget. Audience? Feet. It's feet. Flipping your fins, you don't get too far. Legs are required for running, dancing, walking around on those. I'm sorry, Pat, I just didn't prepare. I forgot the words again. Street. Streets, up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun. Wish I could be part of that world. Tale as old as time, true as it can be, barely even friends, then somebody bends unexpectedly. Just a little change, small to say the least, both a little scared, neither one feet beauty and the beast, ever just the same, ever a surprise, ever as before, ever just as sure as the sun will rise. Beauty and the Beast.
Yo. Patrick Thomas, you are so gifted. You put that together this afternoon, didn't you?
That's true. You're not supposed to reveal the magic. I'm a procrastinator. Yeah.
The magic of Mr. Thomas. That was awesome, man. What a wonderful tribute to our guest. And you are terrific, just terrific. Just quick thing, how was your week this week with the snow here in Tennessee?
I survived. Anybody that has lived in the South or in Tennessee knows that a little bit of snow can be a very dangerous thing for us Southerners. So I survived. Did you survive?
I did survive. It was funny. I ventured out there. I like to meet the elements head on. So I decided to go for a drive, and nothing was open. Couldn't go to CVS. Okay. It was all closed. Yeah. But it was good. Yeah, no, I had a great time, and we hunkered down and let the snow fall and did some snow angels, and we had a good time. We had a really good time, walked around.
Did you see, I'll have to show you the picture. Did you see I made the news? For not anything super cool, except for I bought a USA onesie snowsuit, and I wore it with my fiance, and we made the news for sledding down a little tiny hill wearing our
kidding.
USA. We did. We didn't even know. We just
that's how it is. If you notice the opening of me dancing in front of the marquee, I made the news too. I'm 7 a.m. in the morning.
I'm almost as famous as you, Patrick. I'm getting really close.
Anyway, pal, we'll see you in a little while. Great job, and I can't wait. I know what a Disney fan you are as well. So I'll see you in a little bit, okay? So we are in for a terrific show tonight. As I said, this is Studio Tenn Talks, and I am Patrick Cassidy, the Artistic Director of Studio Tenn. And remember, I say this at the top of the show, we survive by donations, and we survive by producing theater. And right now, we just have donations. So there at the bottom of the screen, you click the donate button above, or by messaging STT to 202-858-1233. That's 858-1233. Please support Studio Tenn. It's the reason why we're here. It's the reason why we're in the Franklin Theater. And it's the reason why these incredible guests come and do the show. So without further ado, I want to talk about our first guest. I have known this person for a long time. We have sung together. She was actually the first guest to do the first Studio Tenn Talks. She has been incredibly inspirational and supportive of me and supportive of the theater. She is a local Tennessee resident. She lives here in Franklin and in Tennessee, and we're going to talk about that. But let me tell you about her career. Tony and Drama Desk Award nominations for Beauty and the Beast. She played the role of Belle. Other Broadway credits include Thoroughly Modern Millie, longest running Sally Bowles in Cabaret, and the national tour cast of Bye Bye Birdie. Television and film credits include Hercules. She played Meg in Hercules. Forever a Disney voice and animation. 13 going on 30. Disney Channel's Gotta Kick It Up and Lady and the Tramp 2. Currently recurs on Cartoon Network's Steven Universe. brought her critically acclaimed solo concert to over 400 cities coast to coast, and I'm going to let her tell you about what she is currently working on. It's incredible. Please welcome my good friend, so talented to have her back, Miss Susan Egan.
Hi, Patrick. Look, I'm wearing my Bell readers because I can't see things, but I thought if I'm going to have to wear glasses, I'm going to wear my thematic glasses tonight. So that's just for you. Thanks for having me.
I want to get a Gaston or a Beast one because I never got to play on.
Oh, I'll see what I can do. Etsy. You find everything on Etsy. Am I right?
How have you been? It's great to see you again.
I've been well. We liked the snow too. So we just, the kids were home from school and we just, which is a thing now anyway. But we live on a hill. And so like Patrick Thomas, we were literally sledding down our hill for an entire week. It was awesome.
And we get to have you here in the theater. You're here in the theater with us.
I'm in a theater. Shh, don't tell anybody.
I know
it's
like,
not.
but it's so great. It's like we have this. We're getting those little sparkles back. It's what we.
I know, a little bit at a time, and I feel like for the first time in forever, Disney people, did you get that? Like things are beginning to look up, and things are going to open back up, and the vaccine is so promising. And I even had a symphony concert a couple weeks ago where the entire orchestra was distanced.
Oh my God.
I had to stay in one little spot on the stage and face only forward so that I wasn't singing into the first violin, but it happened and it worked and it was streamed for audiences. And so little by little.
And it's the beginning. It's the beginning. Well, I'm gonna introduce now our counterpart. We are a trio tonight. It is going to be so much fun. Wow, what an actress. She is an Olivier and Drama Desk nominated actress. Her Broadway credits include The Little Mermaid. She originated the role of Ariel. Phantom of the Opera. She played Christine. School of Rock and It Should Have Been You. Portrayed the role of Christine on Broadway, the West End, and the televised 25th anniversary concert productions of Phantom of the Opera. She originated the role of Christine in the sequel to Phantom, Love Never Dies. Andrew Lloyd Webber himself has gone on record to say that she's the best Christine, certainly. Cinderella at the Hollywood Bowl's production of Into the Woods. Please welcome the incredible Sierra Boggess. There she is.
Oh my God. I'm so jealous that you guys are in a theater.
It's so great to have you in a theater.
Soon you will be in one too.
Oh my God.
But you're actually in New York, so there you go.
That's true. Hi, Susan. It's so good to see you.
Hi, Beauty. It's so good to see you too. The last time we were together was for Disney's 25th, right?
Yeah, it sure was.
The concert at the New Amsterdam, which was amazing.
Yeah, Patrick, why weren't you there?
Because I was doing my talk show, I guess, or I was doing something, but I would have loved to have been there. Guys, I'm sort of entitling tonight's show of Studio 10 Talks Broadway under the Disney marquee, even though we're under the Franklin marquee. And the reason being is because one of the things I want to talk about, obviously, your careers. They're both incredible careers, but we've all three of us gotten to star in a Broadway Disney show. And that's pretty unique. It's a unique experience. I want to talk about it from both of your points of view and give you kind of my take on it. But it's a very unique experience. And I was talking with Susan earlier, Sierra, about, I remember when Disney didn't exist on Broadway. And Susan, Beauty and the Beast was the first and all of that. So how are you? First of all, how are you doing? You were in Colorado, where you're from, right? And then you came back to New York. Is that correct?
Yeah, I went to Colorado for 2 months so I could climb some 14ers and just like be one with nature. And then you can't do much of that here. I love when people say they're going hiking in New York, and I'm like, you mean going for a little stroll? Because that ain't hiking. And so I did that for a couple months, and then I came back, and I feel called to be back here in a way that's just holding down the fort. Like there's, our business in Times Square is so bizarre. And it's just, it's really strange, but I'm really glad to be here.
Good.
Yeah.
Where do you live? Not that we need your address. Are you in the Upper West Side, Midtown, Lower Manhattan?
Upper West Side.
Oh yeah, good place. Nice place to be.
Yeah, Central Park. I had to be near it.
Let's start. Susan, you did the first Disney show, which was Beauty and the Beast, and you played Belle, and you were so young, right? And you're working with
Thank you for
Terrence
saying
Mann,
that. Thank you so much.
and you were we're all young when we start with Disney. And when you think of Disney, there you are.
Oh,
There
but that's
she
not
is.
the original. That's when I was 48. So, yeah, when I opened Broadway, I was 24, and then Patrick talked me into doing it again, and I only said yes because I thought, oh, my kids will never see it. So I did it again at 48. So my joke is that every 24 years, I'm going to play Belle. So when I'm 72, I'll be in the Actors Fund home. And
Okay, wait a minute. Wait, William, can we have that picture back up?
No.
No.
Please don't.
That's
so
48. She looks like she did when she was 23.
As if this does anything. I'm covering it up on my own computer, but that's not covering it for anybody else.
So you're on Broadway in your first Broadway show, and it's the first Disney show on Broadway. What was that experience like?
Yeah, so it was very strange. It was not welcomed, to be honest. I think Disney had been wooed by a lot of the established Broadway producers, but Michael Eisner was the CEO at the time and sort of thought to himself, why do I need to partner up with anybody else? I'll just do it on my own. What we didn't really realize is that he had a theater minor and Jeffrey Katzenberg also had a theater minor. They were like, it was their little pet project, this little Broadway show. But it was something that was pretty controversial at the time. And I was very young. I had never done a Broadway show, but I was surrounded by the most incredible veterans, Terrence Mann and Gary Beach, Beth Fowler. And they just kept my head on saying, just ride the wave. We really have a good feeling about this, and just enjoy the process. And so I always did. I never took it for granted. I really enjoyed it. I think 27 years later, it seems a foregone conclusion that Disney would produce Broadway shows, especially since they have so much incredible source material. But at the time, that was not the case. What it did do, and this is what you and I were talking about earlier, Patrick, the success of it caused other movie companies, Universal, DreamWorks, ultimately Fox, to look at their source material. Broadway had always been source material. Tales of the South Pacific was a book. All of these things became Broadway musicals. Same with Fiddler on the Roof. And so now why not take a film that was beloved and put it on stage? And because of that, we got Hairspray and all kinds of things. Wicked was a book, and then it became a Broadway musical. So I just think it opened the doors a little bit to other people thinking a little outside the box.
Mm-hmm. And for you, Sierra, so you come a few years later, and you do what was Mermaid? Was that the fifth Disney show? Do you think to play Broadway?
I don't remember. It was Beauty and the Beast, and then it was Lion King, and then
Beauty, then Lion King,
and Tarzan.
Tarzan, and I think
but also yours, Patrick. Yours was
Aida
second
too.
or third. Yeah,
it was. Yeah. So you were like five or six in there, somewhere in there,
because
right?
also Mary Poppins, I think it opened first.
And Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, right?
Is Chitty
that's not Disney.
Like I said, not Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It was another car. It was Ford versus Ferrari, the Disney show.
Absolutely.
Fast and Furious,
so
the Broadway
the musical. So you get cast as Ariel. Pretty significant thing. And it's interesting. I was telling this to Susan. Little Mermaid was the first musical movie animation that really kind of brought Disney back. It brought, because then, of course, Beauty and the Beast followed Academy Award nomination, Best Picture, and then all of the ones that Ashman and Menken did, and after that. But for you, so it's the fourth or fifth or sixth Broadway show. What was the experience like for you?
Well, I didn't know it was also my Broadway debut, so you don't know things like that. Like, I went into it so green. I was literally living in Las Vegas doing Phantom when I got cast. So I was in a whole other world. And it was just, I always say this, and I don't know if you felt like this too, Susan, but it's like, you don't want to be the one who ruins Ariel for people.
100%. I have a question for you, though. So, see, I was an adult when Beauty and the Beast came out, but you were a child. Like, you'd seen it as a child.
I was 7 when
what was that like?
Yeah, I was 7 when the film came out. Those Disney movies well, I always loved Disney. Like Sword in the Stone was my jam. That was my favorite one. But then it's like once it went to The Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and Lion King, those were it changed everything. So I grew up knowing them like everybody, like how kids now know Frozen. That's how my generation knew these films. So there came a point where after I booked it that I didn't allow myself to watch it or anything. But I actually, because she's a mermaid, I went in and watched this VHS that I had as if I was seeing it for the first time, and was like sort of researching of like, what is it about a drawing that we are so like connected to? And also living in Vegas, I was doing research. Like I was like, how do I research how to move like a mermaid? And of course, Vegas, there was a tank in the middle of a casino with a woman like dressed as a mermaid, like doing things with, and I would watch.
No, you did not.
Okay.
Please tell me you swam in that tank.
So we have this picture of you in this dress, okay, with this tail. How was it? And didn't you guys, because I saw the show, you were on Heelys, right? Those little roller skate things?
Yeah, they were custom made shoes for our feet that had wheels on the heel. So they are Heelys, but they were a custom dance boot with that. So I was an ice skater for 10 years competitively when I was, of course, Colorado. So that's all I wanted to do. I knew nothing about theater. I just wanted to be an ice skater. But I had to stop because it's one of the most expensive sports. It's ridiculous. So anyway, like all these years later, and you find out that that's how they're doing it, is you need to be comfortable with your feet gliding and like upper body. But even with that, it's so different because nowhere in any training do you learn to do moves on your heels. So it was a whole other thing, but skating definitely was helpful.
As you're also singing high notes too.
But that wasn't part of was that part of the audition process? Did they know you were going to be on Heelys like that?
They did, but my initial audition, I auditioned and I heard nothing. And then all these people were having callbacks and all kinds of stuff. And through the grapevine, I heard that they were doing Heelys. And I thought I was done. I didn't think anything of it. And then months later, I get a call saying to come in for a final callback. And I was like, are you sure you're the right person? I'm the right person. I haven't even had a callback. And that was months ago. And they said, no, it's for a final. And there was 5 other girls there. And I was like, great. So I put on a pair of Heelys in my dressing room in Phantom that my dresser had because she's my same size feet and she happened to have adult ones from Skechers. So I was like, great. And I put them on and I fell because you have no idea like how to do it. And if you stand in parallel, you go back. So I was like, okay. And I figured it out and I would like figure this out in my dressing room in my Christine gear before going on.
Okay, I need that video. I need the video of you in the Christine nightgown.
I wish that we had it.
Skechers on.
I know that would be the best. And I have no footage because of course there weren't even iPhones yet. So nobody was like filming every single thing. It's so crazy. But yeah.
I was a skate guard when I was 15 at Flippers in Reseda.
Come on, Flippers.
Yeah, I was. It was my first job. I roller skated. I do.
But I mean, how fortuitous that you have this figure skating background and it just like all roads led to you playing Ariel.
But see, like so many things, because we also did the out of town tryout in Denver, which is where I'm from. Jody Benson went to Millikan University, which is where I went. Nobody had ever heard of the school before. It was like all these things that were just so like, it was some type of divine, I don't
meant to be.
That is amazing.
And
You know-
I'm obsessing about you. I'm sorry to interrupt, Patrick, but I'm obsessing because I didn't know you used to ice skate until COVID, and now you're posting all the ice skating videos. That's how I got into musical theater. I started out figure skating, and I used to figure skate because the ice rink was so far away from where I lived that my mom and I would listen to musicals on the way because it would take us 40 minutes to get there and 40 minutes back. And so like I was singing along to Evita and then all of a sudden you look at all my competition stuff, it was always to an overture of a show. And I'm like, oh. And then when I stopped skating, like I had all this time to fill and like thought, well, because I could dance, I would try out for the school musical.
oh my God, wait, we have to go skating together.
I can't do what you can do because you're still training.
No,
And also,
I only
I do everything backwards. I turn the wrong way and I jump the wrong way and I do everything the wrong way.
Or does everyone else do it the wrong way?
I was a skate
Thank you.
guard at Flippers.
All right, Patrick, you can be in this party.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna have to. Okay. So Susan, you also got to create a Disney character on film in animation, right? You got to play the Meg in Hercules. We talked about this last time. What was that? Well, how was that? Okay. What was the difference between doing the one on the stage and then doing a musical on film?
Well, Meg was a departure because I was seen as a good girl, do you know, on Broadway. And I would never get cast or seen for like the sexy characters. But Meg was written to be Barbara Stanwyck in The Lady Eve. And I'm obsessed with all the 30s and 40s movies and all those actresses, Lauren Bacall, Joan Crawford, Bette Davis. And so I'd seen all those movies. So that meant something to me. And they had that certain cadence, the way they, if you need me, just whistle. You know how to whistle, don't you? You pucker up your lips and below. Like that whole thing. I'm dying. I wish I lived in that era. So I don't know. So it just clicked, but Disney wouldn't even let me audition. And I had to be a squeaky wheel because they just didn't see me as it. And then ultimately when I auditioned, they're like, oh, and I said, yeah, like Belle, totally acting. Meg is right where I live. So I ended up getting to do it, but that was just inspiring because the voice does very little. And you're just sort of in awe of the artists and the directors and everybody else who's spending day in, day out for 3 years making these movies. And it's just kind of amazing.
Well, instead of showing the animated piece, we thought we'd show the thing that you did, the Disney sing-along video. You want to set it up for us?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is COVID. So Disney Music was reaching out to different Disney artists saying, is there anything you can do in your house? And I'm thinking, well, I've got this Broadway Princess Party pals, and we do this in our shows. So they all put on togas, they put on sheets. And my favorite is that Benji Rauhala is wearing, I think, a Beauty and the Beast sheet as his toga. And so they're playing the Muses, which is, not culturally appropriate, but we were in a pandemic. We still are. So this is recorded in my living room. My sister was on my iPhone.
And this is the song that Meg sings in the movie, right?
Yes.
Susan Egan from Hercules in her living room or bedroom or kitchen.
Hi everybody, Susan Egan here, Broadway's original Belle in Disney's Beauty and the Beast and the voice of Megara in Disney's animated feature Hercules. And like you, I am stuck at home. All because of Hades, two little minions. You know the guys, Pain and Pandemic. The hardest part is how much I miss hanging out with my friends Benjamin and Laura and Courtney and Adam. Although come to think of it, they do pry into my personal life a lot, so at least I don't have to deal with that. Am I right? I won't say I mean love.
Yeah. Well done. In the house.
One take with my
Amazing.
sister walking. Like what I had to do wasn't that hard. My sister had to do the whole thing walking backwards.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. So, okay. I want to talk to you, Sierra and Susan, both about this. Susan and I were talking about it briefly before the show. So about how Disney changed Broadway. And I want to start with you, Sierra, about, because I know that you had done, how long, by the way, did you do Christine on Broadway? Did you, a year, 2 years?
No, I barely did it on Broadway. I only ever did it for like a couple months each time.
Oh, really? Well, but in terms of having done the show and then doing the sequel of Love Never Dies, you know, you've worked for Andrew Lloyd Webber's company. You've worked for the Schuberts. You've worked for Cameron McIntosh. What's the difference between, say, doing Phantom, okay, and that sort of group of people and that crew of producers versus working for Disney in terms of, go ahead.
Yeah, because Disney was my very first thing on Broadway. I thought that's how it always is going to be, meaning you are so taken care of, especially if you're the title of the thing. They take care of you. You are, you know, like driven places. You have, we had Disney training, like how to talk to the press, like all kinds of stuff. And I was doing every single morning show, anything that there was, I'm always on it, singing Part of Your World. But they make sure that you are taken care of. I mean, flying like on the Disney private jet and stuff to LA, if you have to really quick go sing something, that was a thing. Like, and then you have a whole wardrobe and all this stuff. You're very taken care of. So then once you go into like regular Broadway, you're like, can I get oh no, like there's no, like I would get a form before I did any press for Disney that's like, here's what you wear and here's what questions they're going to ask and stuff like that. And here's like, you know, there was training.
Yeah.
So I felt, in a way, I felt really prepared for a lot of stuff. For the next thing I did after that was then I made my West End debut in Love Never Dies. So the pressure that you're under, like we talked about, like not wanting to ruin Ariel for people. And then you go and do something like for Andrew, which is its own thing. So that's also not normal Broadway or London. But so I think the answer that will be more like articulate is that Disney prepared me for pretty much everything. And I'm glad that was my basis. And then realize later even like, oh man, I was taken care of.
Yeah, that's it. That's great. I mean, it's the Disney machine, and the Disney machine, it prepares you for everything. It takes care of everything. And that's part of what Susan and I were talking about. That's the power of Disney. That's the corporate thing of Disney. And Susan, your experience versus doing it
that didn't exist yet.
Versus doing cabaret.
I thought that actually.
Okay, so wait a second. So we have to go back. Disney had never done Broadway before, but they had done their theme park shows. And the people who ran the theme park shows were the ones running Disney theatricals at the beginning. So for instance, Sierra, they wanted us to conduct all interviews in character as Belle. Which, if you knew me and understood that I am not at all like Belle, you really don't want this girl like improvising Belle lines. Like, I'm just way too sarcastic and jaded. So that was one of those situations where Terry Mann would just like put his arm around me. He's like, "Don't worry, sweetie, I'm going to take care of this." And Disney was great, really fast learners. Like they changed everything by the time they got to Lion King. But there was no there was no preparation. There was no like, this is what you're going to be asked. This is going to be anything. I mean, I was on air live with Katie Couric when she says, so your show's turning Broadway into Six Flags. How do you feel about that? And I'm like, you should pick on like world leaders. I'm just the girl who plays Belle. Like, that's what I'm thinking in my head. But I had to come up with well, you were there last night with your kids. I hope you guys had a good time. And like, because we were sort of attacked at the very beginning, but I wouldn't have traded it for the world. For actually the same reason that you just said, Sarah, because it was my first experience. I feel like I was prepared for anything after that because it was like being in the trenches. And Disney figured it out. But the other thing I'd say that's different to get to what you're talking about with Cabaret, Patrick, is that Disney really is a family. And once you're in the family, you're never out of it. So like I left Beauty and the Beast 26 years ago. Like I'm still doing things for that company and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love it. I believe in their message. I love the characters. They know how to give their audience what that audience wants better than anybody. And I just sit there as a student and watch how they do it. And am kind of in awe of it. And I love that I get to be a small part of it. But doing like the other Broadway shows is back to sort of like almost community theater after doing something at the Disney level.
It's interesting. I said to Susan earlier, I said, because when I first got to New York, it was the Schuberts, it was the Niederlanders, the Jujamsons, they ran, it was more, I mean, you could say it mom pop, but it was that. And New York was also very different. Times Square was scary. You couldn't walk down 42nd Street. And, and when Disney came in and corporate America came in, they cleaned up the city, they cleaned up Midtown, they cleaned up the theater district, and they made it safer, again, inviting families, more tourism to come in. And yet I miss some of the edge of what New York was. It's what you're used to.
There's a nostalgia for that.
Yeah,
the first two paragraphs of the Beauty and the Beast review, the first two paragraphs were about the deal that Eisner brokered with Giuliani on 42nd Street. That was our review. Nobody said if you could sing, dance, or act. It was all about they bought this theater on 42nd Street and they're going to turn it into Disneyland, and New York was very worried about that. So, I mean, it was definitely a crazy time for Times Square.
Yeah, and then of course when I did the first national, and I got to know Tom Schumacher really well, and it was great, and all the same things you guys said. I mean, they treated us like gold, and Aida was a very different show because it wasn't a show that had been a movie. They was a show that they had built for the stage, and it was an incredible experience, and then, like you're right, I went back to doing community theater afterwards, and that's where my career is these days.
It's the best place to be. It's okay.
Tell me about, I have to show this picture of you, Sarah. So you got to work with our friend Norm Lewis several times, right?
Yeah.
Did you do Phantom with him? There
Yeah.
you are. Look
Yes.
at that. You were wearing masks before you were supposed to wear masks.
Exactly. Look at that.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Norm.
So, okay. So you did the Phantom with him for how long?
So Norm and I always joked that they wheeled me back out for that because he was like, she'd gone into retirement, but Andrew, it was a big deal because Norm was about to be the first Black Phantom on Broadway.
Right.
So Andrew called me at like 8 a.m. my time because with that time difference in London, he didn't know. So it's like I wake up and it's Andrew calling me. And he asked me if I would, play a Christine with Norm because he wanted it to be special, that it's going to be a big deal and stuff. And I feel like then when I called Norm and he was like, because he knew it's like Hugh Panero was playing it. And that's who I did it with when I first did it on Broadway. And then Hugh and Norm are really close as well. And we both sort of like revealed that Norm had got it before he like knew or something. I can't remember how it all went down, but I called him and I was like, we're doing this, Daddy. And I call him Daddy because he was my daddy in Mermaid. And then he's
right. He played Titus, right? In Mermaid.
Titus. No, he played
Titan. Sorry, King Titan.
Yeah, he played my dad.
Titan.
Titus was also in Mermaid. But yeah, so he was my dad in Mermaid, and then he was my weird lover in Phantom. And yeah, he's one of my best friends. He's my family. So it was like we had already a shorthand. And he was, it was really awesome to be a part of that. Getting to just be there and for that situation was really awesome.
Well, we have a clip from you from Phantom, and it's pretty extraordinary. And I kept the clip going because not only is your singing just remarkable, but I wanted our audience to see what a theater looks like filled with people again, because that's what we want to see. So this is you doing a part of "Think of Me" from Phantom of the Opera. You know, it makes me emotional.
It makes me cry. Yeah, that was beautiful, Sierra.
The best part of that thing is when, like, zooming out and seeing all of Royal Albert Hall filled like that, and that it's like, doesn't it feel weird to see that too? That's like no one's wearing masks. You're not masked, yeah. But it's like that's what we will get back to.
That's right, and you're right. I mean, but you look at it and you really appreciate what that is and why the theater is so special. That feeling, that sight, to see all those people, clapping and cheering together as one it's what makes the theater unique.
Yeah, theater is a shared experience in real time, and we're all in a tight space together, like strangers, It is truly magical.
Yeah.
Susan, the Cartoon Network show, which Steven Universe that you currently do now, right? You still do this?
Actually, it ended last season, but yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Tell us about that, because you currently appear. It's known for introducing LGBTQ plus. Was that the first one?
It won a Peabody actually. It's Rebecca Sugar's the showrunner on that, and it is pretty incredible. I've met so many people back when Comic-Cons were still a thing and people were gathering. I would meet a lot of families where the children might be gender fluid, and it gave them a language. I had parents say to me, I didn't understand. I didn't know how to speak to my child. The child didn't know how to open up to their parents. And it just started that kind of dialogue of just, of be who you are, of everybody's different and everybody's, great, and be who you are and explore who you are. And it's okay. Gosh, I mean, it seems silly because it's a cartoon, but Rebecca created a mythology that is as deep as Tolkien or any of those, Harry Potter. And it goes so deep, and it just speaks to a certain group of people that had no voice in the entertainment industry in that way. And because it lasted 8 seasons, there's a lot of kids who grew up with it. And I've had kids tell me that it kept them from harming themselves. And I mean, it's just kind of, who knew that that's what that experience would be? But I mean, it was life-changing for me. It was amazing.
And a quick, what did you prefer? I wanted to ask, Phantom or doing the sequel?
Ooh.
Did you ask what I prefer?
Yeah.
Phantom or the sequel?
Or the sequel, Love Never Dies.
I can't answer that.
Well, but it's so different because you get to originate one. So, I mean, how much input did you get to have with Love Never Dies?
Well, if either of you have ever worked with Jack O'Brien, he was our director, and he is my favorite director I've ever had.
Great director.
Like, hands down. So I didn't need to have any input because he wrote out the things that he did. He wrote out backstories to fill in the gap between the 10 years and like between the end of the show and this. So I can't answer it just simply because I love both of them so much. But obviously, London is very magical to me, and having that experience and working in London is like one of my favorite things. So the sort of family that I made there is I loved that experience. And then the clip we just watched is from Royal Albert Hall. So we did that show, Love Never Dies, and then we did that after. So going back to the original, knowing what you know from this the sequel is like it really informed my performance in a different way.
So I want to, okay, so this is the big question I want to know from both of you. So what does it mean to be a Disney princess heroine? The responsibility of that, big responsibility. And how does it feel to have that kind of influence over kids everywhere? Susan, you first.
I think it's come to mean to me that that this character is shared by everybody. Like even in the concerts that we do now with Princess Party, it's not like a bunch of princesses showing up and gracing you with our presence. It's that we're all loving on these characters and this music together. We got to play them for 5 minutes, so I've got some pretty funny stories, like when the Beast didn't transform, or I broke my arm on stage, or whatever. But like it was an honor to get to be her, and so there's a unique point of view that I have about it, but I am no more Belle than the girl who's dressed as Belle in the audience, or the gay guy who's also dressed as Belle in the audience. We all share this character together. She is part of our culture. All these Disney characters are, and they're fierce and they're strong and they're independent, and so I just sort of feel like it's a community that we're a part of.
And Sierra?
I resonate with all of that. And the only thing that I would add to that is just from my personal experience of when I started getting fan mail for the first time ever, when I was doing Little Mermaid on Broadway. And the fan mail I started receiving was from people from so many different walks of life, and a lot of people that were struggling. People that were afraid to be who they were, people that were transgender, people afraid to come out to their parents, people that are suicidal, people that are self-harm, all of the things. And what I realized is that Ariel specifically, I think, represents a lot of that, because she represents knowing she was born in the wrong body, wrong place, wrong time, all this stuff. And so all of a sudden they have access, as opposed to they can't get to the cartoon and they can't get to the voices of, and now you have access. I can write a letter to this person that understands. And the responsibility that I felt was, I'm not writing back as if I'm a therapist, and I'm not Ariel, but I understand. I'm receiving what you're saying, and I just want you to know that I've read it. So write their name. You are enough. Love, Sierra. And then Ariel in, quotes. And to me, that was enough. And it was, because they just wanted to know that Ariel, or Sierra as Ariel, has noticed or seen, and they matter, and whatever that is. But I knew it wasn't my responsibility to be therapist, but I took it as my responsibility to just acknowledge it in some way. And that's when you start to really realize it's like, this is much bigger than I am, and even much bigger than what we've talked about of the Disney machine. This is what Belle and Ariel mean to people, and who Belle represents, and how fierce that is, and all of the different kinds of ways that it's like on a deep psychological level that people don't even realize that's what they're responding to.
By the way, I said this to you when we did the tech test. I know you were raised in Colorado, but you sound a little bit like you're from the South.
So I told you my granddad was from Mobile, Alabama.
There you go.
Clyde Turner. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's there. It's there. Listen, I want to bring back our musical director, because girls, we have a little game in store for you too. So bring back Patrick Thomas. We're going to have 4 of us here on the computer. And there he is, Mr. Thomas. Welcome back.
Hi, ladies. Hi, Patrick. I'm so enjoying the show.
You guys are going to like this. Patrick, I know you're a big Disney fan. What do you think of the stories these two have told?
I am so enjoying the show. I wish it could go on for another hour. Huge Disney fan. Grew up with these shows, both on the stage and on, I guess it would have been VHS back then. But I love it.
Well, normally, guys, we play, and Susan, it's funny because when you did like the first show, we hadn't invented these things yet. They kind of came. In fact, Norm, Sierra, because Norm's done the show twice too. Norm helped me create the first game we play on the show. And the game is usually called Remember the Lyric. And what it is it's a song that you sang from a show you did. And I usually give the first lyric and then I point to, and we see how far we can go.
That's
and
such a good idea.
It started with that, and it's kind of grown on the show. But in this case, I thought we'd change it up a little bit. And we're going to play, this is going to be a little game that we're going to actually play to 3. We call it Name and Sing That Disney Song. And so the way this works is, and we're going to start with you, Susan. Patrick is going to play like a name that tune. And if you know the song, you have to sing just a part of it. You don't have to sing, just any part that you can remember, right? If you don't know, it then goes to you, Sierra. And if you know the song, you have to sing a part of it. And then it goes to me, and we know I don't know anything. So it'll be the 3 of us. So Patrick, go. This is for Susan. Play the first Disney song.
Perfect. And don't get mad at me. These are boy keys.
I can open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder, over sideways.
Well done. Ding, 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 ding.
My inner Adam Jacobs. Yay.
Very good. So that's a point for Miss Egan. All right, this one's for you, Sierra. Now you go. Name and sing that Disney song.
Nice.
Wow, that was fantastic.
A little Elton in there.
All right, I'm in this game, but you know something? I just want to be the judge. So let's go back to Susan, shall we?
How challenging should I make this?
What?
I said, how challenging should I make this?
Oh, it's up to you. Do you guys feel pretty confident with knowing sort of Disney's catalog?
Maybe.
All right,
okay,
you're right.
Let's do this one.
The earth is just a dead thing you can claim, but I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name.
Yes, from Pocahontas. Well done, Miss Egan. That's 2. All right, Sierra, name and sing that Disney song.
The snow goes white on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be seen.
Yeah, that's got low notes.
Looks like I'm a queen.
You are a queen. You are the queen.
Oh my God, these guys are okay. I think we got to throw like an older song. One from Steve. All right, he wants to throw one at me. All right, good. Patrick, throw one at me. Let's see if I can. I can't even.
I'll give you a little Disney, little pop music. It's kind of like Elton, but not quite. Let's see if we can do this one.
To dream the impossible dream. To hear.
Tarzan, come on.
Sorry.
I mean, you did Joseph for so long in a loincloth. I thought for sure you'd know the Tarzan song.
Part of it is the acoustics in here. I can't hear a thing. No, let's go back. Let's go back to Susan because they were doing so well.
Okay, how about this?
Yeah, it's from Mulan.
That's right.
We'll make a man out of you, right?
All right.
I'll make a man. It's not my key.
They're both unbelievable. Okay, Sierra, your last go.
Keys. I'm very sorry, Susan. Okay, let's see. Let me think. How about this one?
Is that I Will Go the Distance?
That's it.
I will find my way.
Yes.
I will go the distance and stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
Unbelievable. Well, that's a tie. Both of you guys were perfect on all of your things. Well done. That was our first time
Good
playing
job,
that game.
Patrick Thomas.
Yes.
Well done. And I thought Disney did Man of La Mancha. But anyway, so Mr. Thomas, we will see you in a bit. Thank you so much. He knows every freaking Disney song there is. So awesome. Well done. I'll see you in a few minutes, and we'll bring you back. So ladies, I can't thank both of you enough for doing this show. Can we get a hand? I want them to hear it. Laugh.
Oh, come on.
What a treat to get to do this with you, Sierra. Such a treat.
That's how I feel too.
You
This is
both,
awesome.
you both are exceptional. Sierra, I'm just getting to know you. Just a fan, and Susan, I love and adore you, and you guys just for doing it and supporting Studio Tenn and Studio Tenn Talks and the theater, and we play one final game at the end. Another thing that we didn't do, Susan, when you did the show, but we've been doing this, and it's called You Become the Host. So what it is you guys get to ask me a question, one question, any question, and I have to answer the question. Now I'm asking if Patti LuPone did the show and she asked the infamous question that's now gone into reruns, which is, oh, Patrick, how many women have you bedded?
I love
Of
that
which
woman.
I said my wife was the only one of significance. That's it.
Good answer.
But
Good answer.
So we'll steer away from that, especially on the Disney show. But but please, why don't you go first, Susan? You become the host for one question.
Okay, what's the role that got away?
Oh, George in Sunday in the Park. I wanted to play.
It's not too late.
I gotta go back to the salon and put some brown in there.
That's okay. I'm doing that.
But yeah, it's the role I always wanted to play. I've gotten to do
That'd be great.
I've gotten to do a lot, like 7 of the Sondheims, but that one I missed. But a good one. Sierra.
Well, since it's a Disney show, I would like to know which Disney princess you would like to play.
Remember I told
I think we have to take Belle and Ariel off the table.
Remember-
We're going to take them off the table.
I thought
Because
Patti LuPone's
they're
question was tough. No. So this comes with a very funny quick story. So when I was 8 years old, they used to have remember those boxes for costumes for Halloween that had the mask? I mean, you're too young, Sierra, but you go to the supermarket and it was in a box. It was a little, it was polyester, little one-piece jumpsuit costume with a little mask that you just put a little thing on, and that's what you got for Halloween. Well, I was late getting to the store to get a costume. I went on the noon on the 31st of October, and there were no costumes left except for one. Cinderella.
Yes.
So I bought the Cinderella costume.
Yeah, you did.
And
I bet you were lovely.
I was fantastic. I wore the Cinderella costume to a party, and I've been wearing that Cinderella costume ever since.
You know what? We're so glad we could be here for that confession.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Listen, admitting it is the first step.
That's right.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
I
That's
loved Cinderella, and I still love Cinderella. But I thank you, both of you, for being a part of this show, for making it so wonderful, for sharing your talent and your stories. And next one, what do you got? What do you guys got going on, Susan? Susan, tell us what you have going on.
Yeah, so symphony concerts just coming back. I had one last week, finally, for the first time, and I'm working on this princess project that will soon be transitioning into a big corporate thing, has taken it over. But I can't talk about it, but you could probably put it together.
And you, Sierra?
I'm ice skating.
You're right.
She's ice skating every day. Are you down at where are you skating? Are you down at the
I've
Chelsea
been
Pier?
going- I go to Chelsea Pier, and then there's a couple rinks in Queens as well, which is so, like, I don't ever venture out of my 10 block radius, but I do for skating.
So
It's amazing.
I have a great part for you. I mean, again, you might be too young, but I have a feeling if you're an ice skater, did you ever see the movie Ice Castles?
I knew you were going to say that.
That's the musical. You should play that part. They should do a
On
musical of
ice
Ice
skates.
Castles.
On ice skates.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Done.
Thank you, Sierra Boggess. Thank you,
Thank
Susan
you.
Egan. Thank you for being such a special.
Bye, Sierra. So
Special
good to
piece. You guys
see
are
you,
wonderful.
darling.
You too.
Thank you for having us, Patrick.
You're both so wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Support Studio 10. Donate.
So that's our show for tonight, guys. I can't thank them enough. I can actually even look over at Susan. She's over there. She's amazing. Thank you, Sierra, so much for being a part. So, guys, remember, we survive. We survive and are surviving because of support, and we need it because we can't produce theater, not yet, but we're getting close. Please, by clicking on the donate button above or by messaging STT to 202-858-1233, 202-858-1233. We really need your support. We want to get there, and we're doing the best we can. I want to tell you, well, first of all, I want to bring back our musical director, who again loves Disney and did an incredible job with Name and Sing That Disney song. Come back, Mr. Patrick Thomas. There he is.
Hello, sir.
Did you have fun, pal?
Had a blast. Just enjoyed.
That was great.
For those of you who are watching, I'm above the theater. Actually, I was on stage for our pre-show, and then I got to go somewhere else. We're being COVID safe and tech friendly.
Well, and you've got some rather good-looking guitars there behind you as well.
That's right.
So, what was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you. We're just going to talk about saying goodbye. Oh, I want to talk about on next week's show. So next week, on March 1st, we have two incredible singers, and they are married. They are Jenny Powers and Matt Kavanaugh. There they are. Matt, they are the most incredible singers. Matt was Tony in the revival of West Side Story, and Jenny has done a million Broadway shows. I got to do It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman with both of them. They have a theater company. They live in Arkansas. They go back and forth. They're incredible. They are going to sing on the show live. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful show. And then on March 8th, and the press announcement is going to go out, I believe, tomorrow. I am more excited about this than I've been about a lot of things. So for some of you who don't know, I did the 1991 original cast of Stephen Sondheim's show, Assassins. It went on to become a big album, the Blue Album, with all the stars. If you guys remember, it was nominated for a Grammy. And the cast was Terry Mann, that Susan had worked with, and Victor Garber, and Deborah Monk, and Lee Wilkoff, the original Seymour from Little Shop, and Annie Golden, and Greg Gurman. And I mean, it was an incredible cast of performers. And Jerry Zaks, the director, who was going to direct, Music Man with Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster. And of course, Stephen Sondheim. There's only one Stephen Sondheim. There will never be another Stephen Sondheim. And John Weidman, who wrote the book. We are doing the 30-year reunion show for Studio 10 Talks. And Mr. Sondheim, at 90 years old, is doing the show. That is the cast right there. It is going to be an incredible show. It is going to be, the New York Times, I believe, is going to pick it up. It's going to get a lot. So please donate. The reason these people are doing this, the reason Susan is here, the reason Sierra is here, and the reason all those actors and creatives are going to come back and talk about Assassins is because they love the theater and they want the theater to exist. Please give, please be a part. And that's our show for this evening. Do we have a goodbye song, Mr.
Of course we do. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. when you wish upon a star like dreamers do.
May all your dreams come true. Good night, everybody. Thank you.